Morning, everyone. How are we doing today? As always, thank you for shopping with me. Give me just a second for the computer to catch up so I know that I'm at least a little bit on screen. No, I've been doing much better at that. So how's your day going? How's your week been? Oh. Where am I? Still not showing up. It's kind of rainy here and cloudy today. Okay, come on. I did go live, but my computer doesn't seem to think I am. All right. There I am. Okay. Yay. Sorry about the delay. And we will get started. What are we talking about today? Let's see. I'm going to try and scoot my... There we go. That's a little better. All right. Now we can see. And I tried to get closer today. So this is the main catalog. And I am on page 75 of the Encore, meaning that these are stamps and dies and punches that were in the previous catalog. Okay? And I am talking about this Be My Valentine stamp set with the Bee Builder Punch. Now you can't buy them as a set because they were in previously, but you can buy them individually, and sneak peek, you might want to get that set, or that's all I'm going to say. All right, so here it is. Put that away. And I did a carding class the other day, and I forgot what I really wanted to show them, so I thought I would show you a couple of techniques on how you can get your images to stack up a little easier. Okay, so that's the stamp set we're working with. Here is the punch. And one thing that I would say you want to look at is your punch. You've got to put your paper in this way. You want to make sure that when you stamp an image, your tail or your little stinger is on the right side, so when you put your paper in, it's not backwards. It makes a lot of sense when you do that, because if you had it going the other way in the paper, the other thing is make sure the paper is big enough. So make sure you got it big enough for what you want to punch. If you want to punch all of them, you can do that too. But it's easier to stamp the image, put it in, line it up, and then punch it. Okay? So I've got some black, and I've got some Daffodil Delight. I'm going to open up. And I kind of tend to separate these a little bit. I don't want to be putting my black into my yellow. I've done it before. It's not fun. And the other thing is, so here's one that I did the normal way. So let me show you the normal way you would think maybe to do it. Would be to put your, that makes a lot of noise. Let's put that down there. Is to put your bee body on, shall we say, and then to go to your stripes, ink it up, and try not to get my head in the way, try and line these up. And it's very hard. Oh wow, and I did it perfect. Well, you can look here, I didn't do it perfect. It's very hard though to line it up. So what I wanted to let you guys know is stamp your bee stripes first, and then it is easier to line up, sorry if my head's in the way, to line up your bee body. Okay, so that's tip number one. If it's not working the way you would normally think to do it, try it in reverse. Okay. And then we're going to go in here, and what I do is I hold my paper, I hold the punch, and I get it to about where I want, and I bring it down enough that it holds it in there, so I can see if I want to go up and adjust it a little bit. So I'm just barely holding it till I get it where I want it to be. Sorry. And, oops, hang on to it tight enough. And then I punch it, okay? Nice, easy punches. And I love that when you're done with them, you can close them up and they're a little bit smaller. So they're easier to stack and not get stuff in there, blah, blah, blah. All right, so there's our little bee person. There's our extra pieces. So that's tip number 1. If it doesn't work to do it body and then stripes, do the stripes and then the body, okay? Tip number 2. You got these teeny tiny antennae. There's no punch, no dice. What do? Instead of stacking them up like this and cutting them out, stack them up a little bit further apart. And then when you cut them out, you can leave yourself a tail. So that way you have a much bigger part to glue onto the body. And it can be wherever you want it to be. I don't know. Seems to look best like that. But it could be sideways, okay? So that's tip number 2. Leave yourself some room. 1, it gives you more to hang on to while you're cutting. And 2, it gives you more to glue, okay? All right, tip number 3 is the butterfly wings. Now, you can either put the butterfly wings directly on the page and put your bee on top that you punched, or you can do your butterfly wings, stamp them, and then go in with the heart punch. Line them up again. I'm just kind of positioning it where I want. And then punch. And then your wings are where you want them every time, okay? So there's tip number 2, or 3, or however many it is. All right, so now you've got all your little bee parts, and see now you also have a place to glue our little bee together. Got his little face on, his antenna. Then everything can be glued, and then you could lift it up and everything is there instead of glued down to the page, and your bee is lifted up, if that makes sense. Okay? All right. And I do have a couple cards to show you. Now I want to show you what you can do different with this punch. So I went through, didn't stamp it, and I punched about 3 of these little bee bodies, we'll call them. Okay? So I've got my bee bodies here. And I'm going to get my scissors, and the little stinger part I am going to round off as best I can. The 3 little stingers, like so. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in some ink. I've got pumpkin pie, yes, pumpkin pie. And I've got a blending brush for pumpkin pie. And a piece of scratch paper to blend on. I'm going to put my pieces here. I'm going to get a little bit. I always go off the page and then on. So it makes it a little easier to blend. And then I always use what's in the brush to take all of that off and do my blending. Then I can come back and hit it with a little more. And I'm going to do that for all 3. Pretend I did that on all 3. And then I'm going to, and then, anybody know what that's from? And then, so next we're going to take some pecan pie. We're doing the pie theme today. Were you not told we were doing the 5 thing? And I'm going to take this little baby heart that is in the punch. Punch that out. And that's going to be hard to hold, so it's something like a bone folder or piercing tool, which mine seems to be missing at the moment. There it is. Something just to hold this down with. I'm going to get some ink. And I am going to just color that. Okay. Oops. And now, I'm going to put that away. You want to make sure you get it down all the way and it snaps closed. All right, that's out of the way. Here, I'm going to put just a little color on these. Just because it'll look funny. I'm a perfectionist. I can't help it. I can't just put a white one on there. Sorry. I will hurry. And I like a little bit of light and dark. It makes it look more realistic. That one. That one. And yes, you're probably going to get your fingers inked up, so use your tweezers or your piercing tool or whatever you got. Okay, wash my fingers off. Get this out of the way. And bring in some glue or some tape runner. We'll use the snail. All right, so let's see. I want to stack these. Like this. Anybody tell me what we're building? So I'm going to take this one. Let's get rid of that ink. Close up the inks. Best tip I can give you. So you're not getting anything in it. All right. Oh, one more black one. All right. So I've got my little glue mat here. I'll put some on either side. Put this one here. And I'm going to glue that half down. And then I'm going to glue this half down. Yes, we are building a pumpkin. I'll take this to help me turn that over and hold it down. Folding my ends because I am using that really tough glue. Okay, we're going to turn that over. Oh, I glued the wrong side. Oh well, that's okay. We'll glue this side too. And this is so small. Sorry. I probably shouldn't have done that. Oh well. All right, so we've got that part. Get my hands out of the way so you can see it. Oops. I lost part of this. Hey, I'm not perfect. Let's see. Which side was that supposed to go on? This side. So add just a little bit more so it'll stick this time. Let me turn this around. I like it this way better. Okay. And then we are going to put on our stem, which is, yep. It's really glued down, so let's see. Let us lift up that. There we go. And we have a pumpkin. So, what's the moral of my story? It is to try different things with the items that you have, the punches you have. How else can you use these? I think this is just meant to be a heart, but I like to put the wings on, so that's another one. And these little hearts you could probably turn into something. All right, and cards. So this, get this out of the way. This is the card that we made in class. And you can see that it pretty much lined up, but not exactly. This one, the wings are straight down. That one, I left that extra room. Over here on the honeycomb, oh, I should show you the honeycomb. Here, I'll give you another tip that I discovered. Get my honeycomb out. Put that on a block. And so you can see that I kind of went around this, and this is not that big. So what I did was, let's pretend that this is a circle that we had punched out, and I don't want it to go over my wings, so I've already got my wings on here. Let's see, I'll put some wings on. There we go, we've got our wings on, right? And we want to put some honeycomb behind. So what I did was I lined it up. I need to re-ink this black pad. And I figured out where I could get the most honeycombs up under this part, okay? Closest to where I want to stamp, so, and not go over the edge, which this one is because this circle is much bigger. But the trick that I want to show you is that you get it up close to where you want it. You could even do it this way. And then your next set of honeycomb, you match up this little edge here. I'm going to go straight over the top of here, let's do it this way. So if we have that and we want to line it up, turn it around to where it lines up, and try not to get my head in the way. And we go right over those edges, and it lines it up, okay? And yes, you can see that little bit of a line there. That's a little darker, right? But I have a tip for that. If you go in and sponge, kind of like I did on here, you know, because honeycombs are not empty usually, I am going to take whatever ink is left on here and just kind of tap it around. Now, to do this, I used a much smaller one, but you could do the edges of the brush. And if you just go along and kind of give it a little bit of light and dark, that helps, right? So I'm just putting it on the top part, just as much as I need, and turn your paper around so you can see where you're going. It's always a good idea. I do that with my coloring, and just turn it till you can see it, and that's how I colored in those, okay? And I do have a pumpkin card to show you, so that's another tip. And here's my pumpkin that I made. So, which is your favorite? Do you like the bee? Do you like the alternative? A little something different? And I will come back with a bonus card and do a card for this one. So number 1, number 2, or do you really like this idea? Number 3, and then this will be a bonus. So, I hope you have a good day, a good weekend, a good rest of your holiday season. Merry Christmas, everyone. And I will see you, I believe, yes, next week. See you Friday. Bye, everyone.